right, guys, welcome to the Investing in Clicks, Best Practices in Buying Traffic. So we've got 6 people here and about 50 minutes to do our seminar. So I'm just going to kind of jump in and let everybody introduce themselves. Just, a little bit about who you are, what you do. And we'll go ahead. George, you want to start?
Since I'm the first in line, I'm George. I'm representing one of the largest adult ad network. We have good adult feed of direct publishers. We have about 2.5K publishers overall for our 200 geos. We have 6 media ad formats, and we're pretty much diverse in verticals. We work with cams, adult dating. We work with games, we work with adult content, value add content, and a lot more. That's in short.
All right. Dasha, you want to
go? Yeah, so I'm representing another advertising network, which is Webmaster network. And, basically we do have the highest number of books impressions, which we serve daily. And we are really strong in tier 1 geos, also Asian geos, and some Europe. So we do have a new advertising format, which is social bar, and which I'd like to mention a bit further when I'll be the talking one for a longer time. And basically we do work with all verticals possible. We're extremely strong with VPN offers and also with the cam offers. Basically we work with everything. That's it.
Great. Marissa?
All right, so I have several years of media buying in the adult industry. I worked for a live cam company for several years doing their media buying. Now I work independently as a digital marketing consultant while I'm in the process of building a few sites, which I'll be launching hopefully in a few weeks. So that's me.
Andy?
So yeah, my name is Andy Wilmore. I'm the traffic captain working for trafficpartner.com. And I'm on both sides because one part of our company is an advertiser with direct dating products. So it's all about dating. And then with Grand Slam Media, we also sell member area traffic. So I know how to buy traffic and I know how to sell traffic. And let's talk about how to monetize it.
All right. Gunnar.
I'm Gunnar with cams.com. I've been in the live cam space. We've been an adult for since the 1940s, I think is when I started, and still here.
All right.
Happy to be here. Happy to be part of the YNOT.
And I'm Rainey. Oh,
sorry.
Go ahead.
Sorry, Rainey, I'm not done. You'll have a floor in a second. Okay, we go.
Continue.
No, I'm just kidding.
Or I'll probe you. So I'm Rainey from Juicy Ads. I head up the sales and marketing teams here. Been in the business since 97, 98, mostly in traffic, but I've been an affiliate, I've been a webmaster, I've been in billing, kind of played around with everything, but traffic is where my passion is. So Juicy Ads has been around since 2006, and we're a mostly strictly adult network, working with banners, pop unders, direct placements, and so I guess that's it for the introductions. Thought we could start off with what's your best advice for somebody just getting ready to launch their first campaign with paid traffic? Andy, you want to start us off?
Well, the first thing I think for a media buyer is to have the right software for tracking. It's difficult to explain. If somebody's new, for example, I like Volume, but there's a lot of other software outside. And the point is, you need to find the right traffic for the right product. I think that's the secret in media buying. And there's so many brokers and places, and you can buy so many different media ads from banners, push, email, display, video ads, and so on. So if you don't have the right tracking platform to see which traffic brings you a ROI and which traffic is losing money, then you will never be successful. And also as an advice, in the beginning, you will lose money. Normally, when you do media buying, in the beginning, you lose some money, because you need to test around which product, then also the different landing pages and all the different app material. So have patience, have the right software, and have some money, and talk to your affiliate managers, because the affiliate managers are always the people who knows their product best. So it's important that you have a close relation to the guy who have the product to explain you how where's the kick, where's the hook to get the clients on.
All right, great.
Can I add something to that?
Yeah,
I think I'm on the same
jump in.
track as that. What I was going to say with a lot of my clients, what I see is a lot of people go into media buying a little bit blind. They don't know what a conversion's actually worth to them. And I think that's information that's really important to figure out before you start, as well as you can from data that you already have, like Andy said, from affiliates or from whatever else, because a lot of the cases you'll go in not knowing kind of what you're willing to pay for a user, or let's say how many times if a user converts, how many times they rebill on average. So you go in thinking, okay, if a subscriber pays $10 a month for my service, then I can't pay more than $10 for them. But then if they're going to be a subscriber on average of 3 months or 6 months, then you can't afford that. So a lot of people go in blind. They don't know kind of what their even goals are. And then they just feel like they're flushing money down the toilet. And like Andy said, I always tell my clients that they need 1 to 3 months to learn the traffic before it's going to be profitable, because they need to be able to use that data. And if they don't have it, find that data, find that number, and then be able to tweak all their campaigns until they, make sense. And then, if you can make it to that 3 months, then you have like a positive ROI on your campaigns, and then you can expand them, start small, and then grow bigger from there.
Yeah, I'll jump in on that. I think, we see a lot of people that come in and they want to they start a campaign with no targeting options. So you should come in with as much data as you can get to know how you can eliminate traffic, because the more traffic you can eliminate, the better your results are going to be. So if you come in and you can only bill in the US and Canada, then you shouldn't be doing a worldwide campaign. You should be, cutting out the rest of it. There's lots of little things that you'll want to know if your product or your service, your site doesn't work on mobile devices. You don't want to be advertising on mobile. There's a lot of little things that I see so many people don't come prepared with and just start campaigns worldwide, all targeting options open. So the more that you can know, the better you'll start off in the beginning. And everybody else, just feel free to jump in on it.
Ladies first.
Yeah, thank you. Well, I actually have an addition. As Andy had told, you need to be in contact with your affiliate manager, and some advertisers, they really miss this part, because actually we are on our end spend a lot of time educating our managers, and also they have all the styles of the network. So basically, if you stay in touch with your manager, you actually do not go blind with a new offer, because your account manager can get you some whitelists pre-made for the offer of yours. Also, they will guide you through the optimization stages, through the prices and everything else, and so on. So they can give you blacklists, whitelists, and also guide you through what converts at the moment. Because usually a good account manager is like fully interested in having a long-term relationships with the advertiser and having a long-term running campaigns. So never miss a chance to text your manager and ask what's going on, what better to run, what should I do with this or that. They are always waiting for you.
I was actually wanted to add a couple basic stuff, because a lot of people taking an affiliate management or media buying as a hobby, and I'm pretty sure a lot of us know a bunch of those people. In our law, I mean, like a state law, we have that the scripture that a business is what you're doing on your own risks. So affiliate management or media buying is the same financial risk. And to start with, you need to realize that it's not a hobby. It's not something that you click a couple buttons and then collect your cash. It's not work like that. Nothing in business works like that. You can only get lucky. So that is number one. The second thing that we are already discussed is education. You need to know what you're doing. And Andy was talking about the tracking solutions, which I kind of won't put on the first place. I'd rather put on the first place the combination of traffic source and the offer. That is like way better. You can have a best tracking solution, but if you choose a wrong traffic source and wrong offer, it won't be working. It won't convert. But with tracking solution, you probably will notice that faster than without it.
So what kind of offers, if you're not promoting like a company product, if somebody wants to be an affiliate media buyer, what are the verticals that work best for you guys?
Well, for me, it's dating and live cam. It's still what works the best. But I'm sure that guys in the Nutra area makes a lot of money, and of course, all my friends from Israel make a lot of money with the cryptocurrency stuff. So there's different verticals, but it's something. For example, I'm 20 years only in the adult industry. I know the adult industry. I have the right connections. Why should I switch to another vertical? If I go now in gambling, I could be successful, but it would be way harder than to do it in the adult industry. So if you're once in one kind of niche or vertical, stay there because there's your skill, there's your network. And for me, it's dating and live cam.
Gaming, adult gaming for us is doing really well, and gambling is doing really well. To point those two out. So I wouldn't discount those. Yeah, dating and live cams are great, but there's so much competition there. If it's not your own product, it can be hard to jump in there.
But you sell the traffic. So for selling traffic, we also sell a lot of traffic to casino sites. I mean, for media buying, you need to know your product and the behaviors. And of course, there's a lot of verticals people make money, and there's so many different brokers, and also the adult and the mainstream business in the last years mixed up so much. And it's always, for example, with dating, Nutra works very well because if you're not clever enough to find a girl, then you think you have no hair and you're too big, so you buy pills to lose, or you think your dick is small. I didn't want to mention you, but yeah. So Nutra and dating is always working well together because that's classic.
Want to follow up with that? For that, again, we're coming back to the educational part. So you need to know what offer you're bringing up to the market, and B, you need to know where to get relevant traffic for that. So you cannot run adult dating on let's say, mainstream sources for kids' cartoons. So it won't work like that. So those two things will be always there. For us, we work with many verticals. And for each of that, when we just started, we worked only with Papander traffic, and we never had the verticalization of those offers that coming in. But now, after 4 or 5 years of our work, we have clean verticalization. So the people who come into our network to buy traffic, they can choose the vertical from which they're going to get traffic. So it just helping a lot not to spend sums on testing. So they can choose straight away what kind of websites they're going to advertise on.
That's a good point. And I see people talking about it in the chat too. What is a good starting budget for testing a new offer?
Offer and a payout, of course.
I mean, let's say for somebody new coming in, how much they expect to have to spend to get the data they need to go forward and be successful, would you think? And like we have low minimums. You can come in with $100 and start a campaign. But I really think you need, at least 500 to 1,000 to really get enough data to be able to optimize and go further from there. That's my opinion.
We're getting to point number 1, choosing the correct offer. So if it's like a dating single opt-in registration for $2.5, probably you will be super okay with $100 to start with. At least you're going to see some conversion, some registration. Then you can optimize a little bit and scale up. But if we're talking about selling Mercedes-Benz for a couple $100,000, you probably need to expand that testing budget. So transferring it on a more expensive offers, if we're talking about revenue share, CPAs, and stuff like that, you definitely need to recalculate the budgets.
Okay.
I think it depends also on your relationship with the ad network. Like, I think that, like, in terms of an actual number, like George is saying, it's really hard to throw out a number because it completely depends on so many different factors. But I think the idea of just putting $100 in at a time and then another $100 is kind of setting yourself up for failure. I think a better plan is to have a dedicated, you know, account manager. Let's say if you're working with an ad network, have someone who's, you know, being cautious of what you're spending, and then put in a larger chunk. Just knowing though that it's safe and that you can pause it when you want to, and be able to manipulate the campaigns as you go along. I think like starting with a bigger budget that you can play around with is better than kind of like a little bit here, a little bit there, in my opinion.
That's a good point.
I agree with Marisa, because when we are speaking about something long-term, like for example, campaigns, when you run them, you not only need the registrations, but you also need some coin deposits and so on and so else. And that's not the thing which happens like immediately. Like the installs happening, for example, when you run an VPN campaign or utility campaign of some sort. So basically, if you're going in with 100, you choose something which is like really short-term converting, like installs. But if you're aiming for the deposits, even for DOI, you need a larger budget. And speaking about managers, when the new advertiser or current advertiser comes with a budget, for example, like I have $1,000 for a new test, we split them into a week or two, because you need to see how it goes. You need to see the registration flow, the deposits flow, and so on and so else. You need some time for optimization. So like it's extremely easy to waste 1,000 or 100 in a day, but it's totally useless, and no one does that. You need to split everything for a week, at least when we are speaking about something long term.
And that is exactly when we come into a tracking solution. Because step-by-step tracking setup will help you to, first of all, find a relevant traffic source where you get the registrations from, and then you can target really heavy offers like revenue share or CPA first payout. So first of all, collect your data with the registered users. Then you can use those relevant traffic sources for more profitable offers. And you can use the data which you collected. So you can either sell those emails, or you can retarget the audience from those emails for other offers. So you can basically do a lot of things if you have a tracking solution for it.
And to jump on that, I'll also say, in addition to a tracking solution, if the ad network or traffic source you're working with allows you to track within their platform as well. For example, at Juicy Ads, you can do two kinds. You can do S2S postbacks, or you can do just a simple tracking pixel. And while it doesn't give you the granular information that Volume or some of the others will give you, it will match your sales or your actions that you're looking for to the traffic source. So it allows you to optimize from there. You can go look and see, okay, I get a ton of traffic from this source, but no conversions. So I'm going to block that traffic source, and that leads you down kind of that next step into optimization.
But I think there's also two different business cases. We talk sometimes about media buyer, and then we talk about advertisers. For example, Traffic Partner, we have our own media buying team, and there, for example, we always use the API or the pixel or whatever kind of tracking. And of course, we have a software, our own software behind, and we check exactly the sources, because most of the brokers have so many sources of traffic, and some are really shit. You need to delete them fast, and some are very profitable. And it's very different. As an advertiser, you can track way more things than a media buyer. So my suggestion always for a media buyer is using a tracking software, because then you have everything. Because you buy from different brokers, you have everything in one software. It makes it more easy. But of course, if you're an advertiser with your own company, your own software, then there's a lot of different ways how to track the right sources, because yeah, you're right. The sources, the sources of the right traffic is always the first step. And then of course you need to check which media is working well, because I had this, that we only change the landing pages and a non-profitable source become a profitable source, because you need also to see the site where people come from. For example, users from a tube site are totally different reacting than people from a blog or from a campsite or from another site. So you need also to check how looks the site where you get the traffic from, what could interest the client to click first on your advertising and then convert them to a client. So that's when I see sometimes people, they use the same banner for 20 different or hundreds of different sites, and the source is totally different and makes no sense. So yeah, like you're saying, media buying is not a hobby. Media buying, it's a real high technology job, and it's a company, and if you don't do it right, you only will lose money.
Like I've just dropped in the chat some info a little bit, just to summarize, like about the traffic sources. I got a thought that, which Andy was referring to, that you need to know the traffic source from the inside out to, first of all, to make a good creative for that. Because if you know the traffic source of the exact website, you can mimic your creative under the content that website providing, and the user will kind of behave to that content as the same as he found on that website. So he might think that it's like a logical composition, not just some ad. And that is quite interesting, because some networks have like 1-2 big sources, and they can open up the referer, open up the name for you, and you can see where your ad will be placed. And other networks, like we, for example, we're a blind network. We have undisclosure agreement. We cannot show the names of our 95% of our publishers. So that's the issue, and that's the second step of optimization, because here you can only do a technical part.
Well, basically, on our end, when an advertiser have an issue with some site and sees the numeric ID, which is comfortable, for example, we can't disclose the domain if it's some kind of tricky situation, because you should not go completely blind. But speaking about creatives, for example, on our end, we do have an additional department who does the creatives for CPA campaigns, and sometimes if it's a legit advertiser with whom we're working for a long time, and our advertiser needs some special creatives, for example, pre-landers for POPs or social bug creatives, because it's a new format and it's hard to draw all this stuff. We are providing the creatives of ours to the advertisers of ours, because we're aiming for them to grow. So it's something like an educational system for advertisers on our end, because when we see that someone is working on something old, which is not working at the moment, we're always hey, dude, don't you want to change this thing? We have something better. and eventually it works. But when you're buying something and testing something, you need to know that sometimes you lose the money, because no one can guarantee you on 100% that something will work. That's from what Andy had started, actually.
And it's not just when we speak about creatives, it's not just the banners that you're using. It's also your landing pages where you're sending those offers. Make a huge difference. I know as an ad network person, people will come to us and say, well, this traffic isn't working. And then we look at their landing pages and have to kind of guide them there, because that's just as important as what you're doing with once you get the traffic. That's out of our control. So maybe Gunnar, you could chime in on your guys' strategy for kind of creatives and landing pages.
Well, yeah, landing pages are super important, right? I mean, and if you're not at least A/B testing or A, B, C, D, and E testing your landing pages, then you're doing it wrong. I don't work on the ad buy team, or I'm not on that side of the house with cams, but we have a really qualified team, and it takes, as Andy said, it takes multiple people looking at the data to analyze it properly and to optimize it. Otherwise, you'll lose your ass in ad buying. And even big company, we get it wrong. I mean, everybody gets it wrong from time to time, or takes a gamble on something new, and it doesn't work. That's just part of the game.
I think it's what, like George said too, that it ties into that concept of media buying not being a hobby, because a lot of people go in thinking they can buy traffic, and buying eyeballs is going to make their product sell, and that's not the case. I mean, more than half the work is actually in-house in creating a landing page or a sales funnel or something that's converting your product specifically for where, we're talking a lot about ad networks, which is often blind traffic, but there's also, direct buying. So, whether you're working with an ad network, which is more kind of like a lot of testing, like a lot of testing, A/B testing, and it's kind of like a guessing game until you find something that works. Also, when you're working with direct sources, I mean, you shouldn't have the same landing page for a direct source and an ad network. You want to be able to have like a variety and make sure that they fit with traffic source. And that's probably the hardest part. You can't just buy traffic and send it and expect it just to magically convert, which is what most people kind of come into media buying thinking, and then end up feeling like they've lost money or that they were scammed by the network or whatever.
Yeah, kind of what we do, because we're not a blind network. We're transparent, so you can go in and see the sources and all of that, and you can block them, or create a blacklist or a whitelist depending on that. And we also have direct buys. We have a full marketplace of thousands of sites where you can buy for a week or a month or more. And often what I suggest to clients is they start off with a run of network and weed it down from there, find the sources that are best, and then switch to the direct buy. Once you go into the direct buy, just as Marissa was saying, you can more customize your offer, your creatives, and your landing pages. So there's a multi-levels there. I also want to touch on RTB a little bit. Juicy Ads doesn't do a lot of RTB at the moment. It's set up. It's just not something that's been real popular on our side of things, but I know it's very popular on with some other places, and I think both George and Dasha are involved in that. If you guys want to speak to RTB a little bit.
Well, yeah, actually, the department managing partly is the RTB department of ours, and well, frankly saying, I've had a short discussion with one of colleagues of mine last week about why is not everyone buying on RTB at the moment, and well, firstly, you need to be prepared, and programmatic buying is a bit costly because you need servers, you need a proper bidder, and there are some platforms which will allow you to start buying programmatically without developing something of your own, for example, at Kernel. But all the platforms, they have the pros and cons. For example, Kernel advertisers often mostly suffer from the discrepancy. Not because the service of ours, but it's like a general problem with the kernel we face. Anyways, on the other hand, it's like the easiest, the friendliest platform to start using. And well, mostly it's way easier to start buying programmatic because you won't need, you need to worry about the optimization one time when you set your bidder. And you set the rules which your bidder will use in order to unlink something a bit higher or a bit lower and so on and so else. But anyways, if you don't have a proper technician in your team, it will be almost impossible because it's a lot of technical work in order to start with that. So sometimes it's better to stick with a direct links buying with the classical CPM and CPA systems. So yeah. Anyways, it's way easier to optimize when you don't think about what's going on. The machine thinks before you. In our panel, there are some tricky things. For example, some of our publishers, they don't like the network buying from them because sometimes you face the issues. For example, if it's a huge network, sometimes some advertiser from self-serve, logins to this RTB network and then starts buying to some forbidden offers like technical support, and we don't like that. So some of our publishers are unlinked from RTB buying, and you need to still need to buy direct sometimes. What do you have at Click, George?
Well, we do programmatic a lot. We do buy and sell. We sell less right now because not a lot of our partners can sustain the good demand. We're working from demand from about $250 per day, because, like you said before, it's pretty costly, and it's costly for both buying and selling, because you constantly need to provide data back and forth, and taking a lot of servers powers for that. So that's one part of the issue. The other part is that a lot of networks, especially small networks, do not have their self-service platform. So they only sell or buy traffic through programmatic, either RTB or XML. So with that, ad networks or a broker, even a big broker of like 10 or 15 websites of their own, we can work. We can even provide a specific feed for them. Like you've said, we can write the rules for them, which offers gonna go on their feed, which are not. Overall, programmatic, I believe, somewhere is the future of media buying, because it again, like you said, it provides hands-free for a media buyer or for a team of media buyers to do less of handwork, of manual work, and rely more on bots, on rules, on the technical part.
Well, we started like 2-3 years ago to buying traffic from RTB platforms, and like Jared said, the technical problems in the bidding were very high, because also there's different standards, and the tracking, everything was complicated. But now we do with quite a lot of partners, we buy a lot of traffic, and the only thing is there's a lot of RTB platforms, they're only rebrokering traffic. So it's like everybody who have shit traffic, put it in an RTB, and then mix the shit traffic with some good traffic, and you really need to see that you find the right partner. And we also asked new RTB platforms, they want to get integrated with us. We always ask them if they have also their own traffic, because if not, it's only rebrokering of rebrokering. Because I know some brokers, the unsold inventory, they sell the unsold inventory to another RTB, and the RTB sells the unsold inventory to another RTB, and then they mix all the shit together, and you buy it, and then you ask yourself why it don't convert. So I think also that makes the work very easy for media buyers in the future. A lot of handwork will be done by the computer, but you know, the brain and the nose of a good media buyer cannot be beaten by a machine. So it's an extra sell for extra buy for us, but it's technically difficult, and you need to find the source with good traffic.
Found with RTB was a lot of people were jumping in and not really knowing what they were doing, and that's kind of why we, like I said, we offer it, but we don't promote it a lot, just because it's been so flooded with people that don't know what they're doing, and things like that, because it's definitely an advanced level of media buying, in my opinion.
Also, the mistakes which you make when you're buying on RTB are extremely costly. Like, for example, one day, the following thing had happened. I've integrated a new advertiser to our network on RTB, and I was so happy I've decided to go grab a cup of coffee. In 2 minutes, I'm coming back to the laptop of mine, and I see the spend of 5K or something like that. And I'm texting my advertiser, is everything okay at your platform? What's going on? And he's like, whoops, the bidder. So we refunded this sum, because obviously it was a giant mistake, but sometimes such things happen. And when you're concentrated on direct links buy and if you don't have a technician and you don't need volumes of blind traffic, because RTB is good for the networks when you need a large volumes for a large feed of yours. But when you're working with one offer, it's always better to go with a direct link and test a lot of landing pages instead of blindly bidding on everything and trying to find the way.
All right. No, go ahead.
We also do have a CPA SSP at our platform. And speaking about optimization, when you have a small budget, for example, you're lacking enough time, but you're really struggling into getting on board of media buying, you can go with CPA SSP model, because the optimization system of a network will recalculate the CPMs of yours each hour based on the eCPM of some segment you're running. So if you don't have any conversions, this segments will just go away to a blacklist. And well, the easiest thought is to go with CPA SSP, because the machine will calculate everything for you. It's not like 100% working solution, but anyways, it's good for the newbie to know that some machine will do the calculations.
Definitely.
Agreed with that. A lot of networks already develop very sufficient stuff for the media buyers, stuff that can optimize your campaigns, automatically blacklist, whitelist zones for you, do stuff like CPA goal-based campaigns, where you can set up a payout that you're willing to pay for the each of conversion, and system will find out the relevant sources for you. Of course, it won't be free. You will be paying for the testing stage, but in the end, your campaign will get relevant traffic sources.
All right. So I guess we could get some last thoughts before we open it up for questions from anyone. Just a couple of last thoughts from me is just everyone's pretty much touched on it, but work with your affiliate managers, work with your account managers at your network. These people are there for you. That's their full-time jobs, is to help you be successful. And so many people don't take advantage of it. And it doesn't matter if you're new to the business or you're very experienced. Like I know at Juicy Ads, our account managers are going to know our platform and our traffic better than anyone. So not to reach out to them is, I think, a big mistake. And the same with if you're promoting an offer, from another company, from CAMS or whatever, reach out to them, because they're going to be able to give you information that you're just going to waste money testing otherwise if you don't get that information from them. So, you want to just do some quick last thoughts? Any points you wanted to get across? Marissa, start with you.
Yeah, I think you kind of outlined it pretty well. I think the most important thing is to, like, from the start, know what your goals are. Know what a click is valued at for your company and your product specifically before you go in buying. And try to do your research and have some knowledge of the process before going into it. And if you don't, then find a reliable company that has a manager that will really be on top of your account and take advantage of that. I know some companies will, have an extra fee for more support. And I think that's absolutely worth it if you're not a media buyer or if you don't have media buying experience. And just, take that advice from that manager and use it towards whatever you need to do on your side as well to make the traffic successful. And I think with, those 3 kind of loose steps, you should be pointed in a good direction, and give yourself 1 to 3 months to create a successful campaign.
Advice, Andy?
Don't do media buying. Sell me all the traffic. I take it all. No. Like the pay. In a lot of businesses, you need patience, and I think, like we talked about before, there's a lot of people, they heard something about you can make money in the internet, and then you see all this fake gurus in Instagram and in Facebook. And even I have many times that people ask me, "Oh, Andy, I want to make some money in the internet. Where can I buy traffic?" And I said, so you need to be a professional in these games. You need to be professional. If you don't want to invest money, if you're not professional, if you're not willing to learn, if you're not a hardworking person, GFY, and you look for another job. So yeah, keep it real. Work like we all here. We are many years in the business. We're all working hard, and we always change with the new things that are coming up. So media buying, it's a real business.
All right, Gunnar.
Yeah, you know what? There were a couple of questions in the chat room that I think specifically I'd like to address. It was about one of the cam studios that's looking to buy traffic for their models. This is something that we've seen. Oh, and someone else asked about traffic specifically to OnlyFans. I think Jimmy commented and said, Juicy does sell traffic directly to OnlyFans pages. But as a cam site, we see more and more studios who are interested in buying traffic and sending it to specific models. So if you were if you heard the seminar today and interested in doing that, I would say the thing is if you don't know what you're doing, you'll lose almost every dollar you spend on that because it's very, very difficult. And as you said, Randy, earlier, you're competing with us, with the big platforms. So it can be done, but I think that it's a quick way to burn through some cash if you're a cam studio trying to send traffic to your models and you don't have a firm grasp on that on the media buying experience.
I just want to add one more thing to that because you just brought something up that I wanted to talk about really briefly. If there are any models or studios that are watching this, like Gunnar said, going against the big companies that are media buying, and it's really difficult, but there's some different sources. It's important to look within and see what traffic you have on your own and how you can optimize it. One of my companies that I just in the process of launching, but it's launched, it's called Brand Fans, and basically you can target like if you have a good following on Twitter, we can send out DMs to all your Twitter followers for you. So that's a good source of traffic if anyone's interested to hit me up about after. But that's a way that you can, target your own fans, and you already have that traffic. So that's kind of, a pretty reliable way to get traffic if you're looking for traffic to your OnlyFans or something like that.
I want to say something. There's a guy called Andy Candy, and he says adult is dead since 10 years. So should be a loser because my bank account is going up in the last years a lot, and we are still doing a lot of good money. If I want to say, if somebody wants to sell traffic, I can buy it. If somebody wants to buy traffic with Adnium from Grand Slam Media, we sell our member area from our own dating sites. So it's the cream of the cream because they're verified users. They already spend on credit cards, and you can target everything that is necessary to be successful. And adult still lives and makes a lot of money, especially in dating live camps. And with the models, they make a lot of money. Students make money. So everybody who thinks that adult is dead, it's an idiot.
I can agree with that as well. Last test conference when I saw Andy for the first time, there were it's like off topic, completely off topic, just a story still. We saw a couple of guys who were selling the electronic masturbators. So those guys stepped out for our booth and asked to show my 3 fingers inside that masturbator to feel it. So I did that, and I felt the very excitement of it. Therefore, if I shot something else, not just 3 fingers, I assume I would do something else. Okay, so where I'm coming to the point where adult industry will grow even more. When you get your VR on the face, when you get your masturbators on your whatever, when you get your things inside and inside out, and when you will be able to feel what model is doing, when you connect her stuff with your stuff and feel each other, that's where's the future. And to the person that said that adult is dead, I'm completely disagree with that. Every industry has its upsides and downsides, and every industry is growing when users when there is a demand for it. So until people won't stop jerking, I'm sorry, the language. Until the people
That's what we do.
Start buying dick creams or whatever they're buying, the industry will grow and stay alive. And the cam industry, especially because it's a way not to just interact with the girls, it's a way of kind of building your own lifestyle on it. So a lifestyle of a cam model is something new. Like 10 years ago, to be a cam model, it would have been the same as I don't know, like a hooker or something like that. But now it's kind of legit stuff to do. Being a male cam model is again becoming a very legit thing. So I do believe that the industry will grow, develop, become fresh and new.
Hey, does somebody want to explain what pixel tracking is? They're talking about it in the chat room, so people don't know what pixel tracking is.
Sure, yeah, I can jump in. So, for example, on Juicy Ads, you can set up a pixel for a campaign, which is just going to give you a little JavaScript code. You put it on your confirmation page. So after, this is once you've gotten the action you want, whether it's a sign up or a credit card confirmation, wherever you want to record that as your action. That will record that pixel will show up and track it to the specific traffic source that sent it. Not sure if that made a whole lot of sense.
It's basically a way of tracking the traffic that you're getting.
Yes, but you have to be able to place it. If you're an affiliate, you may not have that ability to track, or if you're a cam model, you may not be able to put that pixel in your room to track it. So it all depends on where your landing pages are going and what your offer is.
Yeah.
Dasha, you have a few last words, and then we'll see if we can get to a couple questions.
Well, after these bright speeches, I'm not having such great sense of humor as you do, guys. So I'll be keep on testing, because the key point here is to test. There is no golden ticket. There is no extra winning combo or offer or whatever. It's a hard job, and you need to be prepared for that, and running something over and over and over again. Once you stop, you are starting to say that some vertical is dead or whatever, but those who are not stopping, they are still learning. That's it.
I want to extend a bit of what you just said. I want to add that test and communicate. As more as you communicate with the managers, with community, the more success you will get, because the communication is a key part of any digital business.
Yeah.
All right. Any questions that we didn't get to? I know there were some early on that I tried to work in, but if anyone wants to throw out any questions, we'll be happy to take them now.
Well, I only want to say in about 1 hour, I do the Captain's European Night Lounge. Everybody who wants to join, let me know. You can send me a message here in the system. And this will be a talk show where we talk a little bit about business and life in general. Everybody who attended the Webmaster Access know that's a lot of fun. So I don't know, what is the Jimmy Fallon? No, it's not Jimmy Fallon. No, Jimmy Fallon. I'm the Jimmy Fallon of the adult industry. So join the talk show in about 1 hour.
And a lot of drinking too, right?
Well, in Germany, it's already 7 p.m., so it's time to chill out, right?
All right.
Good. Thank you, Rainey, for the moderation.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, guys.
Michael's
All
got
right,
a
guys.
question, Rainey.
Okay. Who does?
Michael Rosenfeld. He says, any opinions on push ads or native ad for cam promo?
That's a good question.
I have something. We have push traffic, and it's good for cams because you can pretty much go with small picture of the model that will perform, and if user will like it, he'll click on it and then go to a cam website. Easy as that. You can also use a way of messaging with the user. So you can add a small creative with a sort of a message coming from the model, and it's like a start of communication between the model and the user.
It's perfect for models when they go online. Sending notification and sending "I'm live now," and then you get interaction.
Speaking of notifications, we've switched to social glass of ours, so you can not only use a small pic of your model, you can even upload the video of your model, text into someone and doing something, and we will show it on the websites of our publishers as a small notification window, and there are like so many possibilities to use it. You can do something like Instagram stories with all of your models, and to be honest, like it's the most converting thing for comms at the moment. So
for dating,
and we have a creative team who does all the creatives. That's the most handy thing here, because like I hope they won't die because of that, because they do a lot of creatives lately.
Can I just add something about push ads? Be careful with push ads, because make sure you know what you're buying when you're buying push ads. If you can customize them yourself, great. That's ideal. That's the best thing. I mean, if you can customize them and the subscribers are yours, amazing. But if you end up with someone that's selling you push ads, just know what's on those. And if they say, oh, we just do, and they're vague about it, be careful, because sometimes you'll end up with somebody that, charges the CPC for a push ad, and it pops up and it says you have a message on Facebook. And then when you click on it, it goes to Cam's site and you're like, what the fuck? And then you're going to immediately exit it. And then you get charged for that click. So just be cautious with push ads and make sure you know exactly what is being, what they look like.
Good advice. All right, guys, I think our time's up. Thank you, everyone, for participating. And we'll all be around, and we can all talk traffic for days. So feel free to hit us up if you have more questions. We'll all probably be here for the next 3 days. All right, guys, take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.